this. People will complain about socialism when they're talking about capitalism the entire time. And I don't, I've tried to talk to people about this. Like, you ever talk to someone, you work in the food service industry, you said, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
You ever talk,
yeah,
I
I'm a
would,
kitchen manager.
oh yeah. So I would talk to people like at bars or something. And this was great when I would go out drinking and I'd find old people because they're fun to talk to about this kind of stuff. And I would go through and say, listen, I'm a socialist. I think that workers should have a say in how their businesses run. I don't think it's fair that one person or a tiny group of people can just uproot like a factory and rob people, thousands of people's of their livelihoods. They can shut down the economy for that entire region because they've made 1,000 people unemployed or something like that. Move their
Facts.
company to Bangladesh just so they can make a quick buck and just destroy the entire Rust Belt. Basically, I don't think that should happen. I think that if they want to move, the people need to say, okay, you have our permission to do so. And they're not going to say that. And like, oh, yeah, that does make sense. And you could just do policy after policy. And they're like, okay, all right, I like what you're saying. But did you hear there's a man in a dress at my local library? And like my conservative representative, Chud Truckley, he says he's going to put a stop to this. And it's like, all right, man, what really matters to you here? Like what are you really
Right? Like,
interested in
why
here?
do you care?
I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Because I don't know. My methods I've found it works personally, whatever, but it's not working on a national level. And I think there's a lot we can do to change our language. Have you talked about this about how a lot of lefty language is like unnecessarily academic and
Oh yeah, that's like
sanctimonious?
I've stopped mentioning socialism at all. If I'm
Hmm.
talking to someone who isn't like in my club, basically, I just advocate for worker co-ops.
Yeah.
You will have a right wing person right there with you about how great worker co-ops are and how the employees owning the means of owning the business is the best way to go about it because they'll never vote to outsource their own jobs and they'll be right with you until they figure out that that is the workers owning the means of production. Like literally.
Yeah.
As
Uh,
soon as you say it like the workers owning the means of production, that's communism. Do
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally the same thing we were just agreeing on 2 minutes ago. Like,
Yeah, I think. Oh, I have two thoughts on this. First is I agree that we have to change the way we. The one thing that I tried that seems to work pretty well, I focus on family values. I stick to that, where I say, listen, you know that having a baby costs $1 million, just to have the baby, let alone raise them. And if you're under 40, good luck buying a house. Hell, if you're under 50, good luck buying a house. You probably haven't done it yet. You're not going to just find $400,000 lying around to buy a house. Uh, getting married is is costly and expensive, but you need two incomes to kind of survive on this planet. Certainly, if you want to have a child, if you decide to have that child, you're gonna the kid's gonna go to school. Your both parents are gonna work. None of you are gonna see each other until 6:30 that
right?
night. Yeah, the kid's gonna if the kid has like baseball practice, you may not see that kid till 7 p.m. You will do this for 18 years. Next thing you know, that kid's an adult. Childhood is over. You have spent no time with that kid whatsoever. I want to make it so that one person can support a family. I want to make sure that I have guaranteed maternity leave, guaranteed paternity leave. I want child tax credit so more people can afford to have children. That's what I'm going to focus on doing. The Republicans, their solution is you had a kid, congratulations, get your ass back to work. You need to work. They're focused on making you work more. I'm trying to make you work less so that you can spend actual time with your family instead of at work. I think that's a good way to kind of go about this and just hammer the family part. Make the Republicans tell you what they're going to do that would allow you to spend more time with your kids. I'd love to hear that. I would love to hear their
Right.
solution on how we're going to make it easier for you to have kids and give you more
The
time
problem is
with them.
their solution is to ban women from the job site.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
like,
Women
like
can't
if
work
you
anymore.
if you ask them, they'd be like, "Well, we just don't let women work anymore. We don't let women have credit cards or bank accounts, and then
Yeah.
they'll have to be subservient, and they'll have to have a man to do anything." So, like, that's literally their answer to this whole
The
thing,
thing
the
is,
whole population decline that's coming.
yeah, yeah, but that couldn't work because you couldn't afford to have the kid anyway. Like it wouldn't solve it. I don't know. It
Right?
just would, right. It wouldn't solve the problem at all. And my second thing would amount in a little bit of subterfuge, folks. I am mostly not joking when I say this. We need to run for office as Republicans. We need to do it. We do. We need to just say that same speech I gave right there. Like, I am focused on family values. I want to bring the family together. You will win half the Republican vote just off that and charisma alone. Like, that's it. Just say that. Don't talk about any other issue. And maybe I would sprinkle in Satan is coming after your kids and I'm here to stop him. And the Republicans will start cheering. They'll love it. They'll love all of that. And if it worked 25% of the time, we could just infiltrate the Republican Party we only got to be there for a little bit and then start flipping it around. Because the Democrats.
You only got to win the primary.
You only got to win the primary, right? Because other people aren't even going to know.
In a red district, they're
done.
They're voting red anyway.
Exactly. That's why I'm only kind of joking about this. That if you have a personality, if you can talk to a crowd, if you have, a double-digit IQ, go for it. You're going to beat the average Republican, 10 out of 10 times. So why not?
Especially if you're in a rural area, because you could just go knock on enough doors to meet the person in person.
Yeah.
And some of these rural areas don't have a lot of people in their district.
Yeah, they won't even know. So I don't know. We got to try something because our current plan is not working. I think I saw you do a video on Redbook. Is that what it's called? Red Note.
It's funny. In the App Store, it's called Red Note, but if you translate the name of the app directly, it's called the Little Red Book.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
I was like, okay, I'm going to download this.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
It seems like, it's Chinese TikTok.
All right. That seems redundant, but all right.
I'm sure it's going to get banned. I'm sure it'll be banned, but the idea that there's millions of people making their accounts there is kind of a fuck you to the U.S. government. I respect it.
I do. Yeah, anything we can to do that. You mentioning the Little Red Book. So I was in China back in 2003, and I remember going to Mao's mausoleum, and I went there. It's huge. And it's this massive structure, and you walk in, and the only thing in there is Mao's body, just in glass or something. And so it's somber, it's quiet, and you walk through in line, and you go up to the body, and you view it and everything, and you kind of process it and step out. And I kid you not, you step out of the door into a gift shop. Immediately into a gift shop, which was just jarring to me that you had this somber procession past this guy who's been laying in state for decades now. Hey, here's a gift shop. And there was a bunch of Little Red Books in there. I'll never forget, they were just selling the Little Red Book, and I thought that was, whenever I hit a Little Red Book, I think of walking to that gift shop. I'm pretty sure I bought one too, but who knows where it is now. But all right. What do you think is going to happen? So we mentioned earlier on about the cults that have been growing. There's the religious ones, and then there's the inexplicable political ones around Musk and Trump that.
And there's also the militias, which are insane right now.
Mm-hmm.
Them country boy militias they're basically brown shirts in waiting.
Those guys. Wait, I don't know if you're comfortable saying what state you live in, but I'm
in North Carolina.
Oh no shit! I was born in North Carolina. I was born in what's now Fort Liberty, and I'm sure there's plenty of them down there. But I remember a bunch of them in Missouri, and these guys, they go play soldier. I was like, you guys can actually join the real army, right? You can do that anytime.
They don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that, right? They don't want to do that. You got to run and stuff in the real army and everything. But yeah, and they always said the same thing. They always said that they're big Second Amendment guys and everything. And I'm fine with the Second Amendment. I'm not that kind of guy. But it's there's we got to get together and make sure to have this militia ready, and so we can fight the government in case it becomes tyrannical. It's buddy, the government is already tyrannical, right? It's already that. It's never not been tyrannical, right? You guys say it all the time. You militia guys say the government's tyrannical every day. You don't do shit about it, right? You don't. The government, the police can kill you anytime they want with no repercussions at all. The corporations are slowly. They're feeding you microplastics, slowly turning your kids into styrofoam, and you're not doing anything about that. There's 800 military bases where we extract resources and impose American will at the point of a gun. You're not doing a goddamn thing about it. I don't think you're really serious about stopping this tyrannical government. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, my thing is whenever I hear somebody like, same whenever I hear somebody even on the left talking about wanting to throw a revolution, I always want to ask them, okay, who are we going to shoot?
Hmm. Good question.
Because
Yeah.
none of them have an answer. Like none of them, like where are we showing up at? Who are we going to war with? Like the
Yeah.
U.S. military? That seems stupid, and they're
Listen,
just following orders. Like, not only do I think we're losing that fight, but they're not the people who are in charge. Like,
it, this is true. Like I am as big into leftism as anybody, but the plan needs to make sense. The plan needs to make sense. And like I'm sure you've seen the post, it's like my politics are not voting like you idiots. My politics is firebombing a Walmart, and then they don't firebomb the Walmart. And there's a reason you don't, because you know, just like we do, it's not going to work. That's not how this problem gets solved. First, let's say it did work. Let's say it magically did work. You would create a power vacuum like the planet has never seen. Like the world would get infinitely worse. Like if the United States of America just disappeared, the infrastructure around it and the supply lines, guarding like the coastal trade and everything,
oh
it
yeah,
all fall apart. People wouldn't get medicine, they wouldn't get food. It'd be mass starvation and famine and death around the entire planet because you're not building a new government. Also, you wouldn't get that far because people like to say that, well, you know, the U.S. military is no guarantee they beat some militia because they lost to the, you know, Vietnamese rice farmers and everything, as if there's any comparison to like traveling around the world to fight someone and fighting in your own backyard. Because
and
it's like,
I always have to point people out that the Vietnam War was not meant to be won.
mhm,
Desert Storm was not meant to be won. Afghanistan was not meant to be won. These wars were meant to be maintained for the military industrial complex.
mhm, mhm.
That's all they're for. They are
Yeah,
all to make more money for the people who make the bombs.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if the United States had wanted to just win a war against Vietnam, we would have just carpet bombed the entire capital. We
well,
never
yeah.
did that.
Because like as we found out in Iraq, I think better than anything else, we're not really interested in building something new there. That would take work.
No,
That would take a lot of
yeah, we
that
don't
takes
want
a lot.
anything to do
Yeah,
with that.
right? Yeah, like,
No,
no
we
thanks.
want instability.
Yeah, we'll keep this ball rolling and everything. And if you went against it, like they say, well, you know, first I asked them, how much fresh water you got, buddy? How much fresh water you got? So you got stored away? Because all they're gonna do is cut off your water supply. You're done. Like, how much do you have to say? How long could you wait them out? And if you're gonna go live in the woods or something, oh yeah, you mean the same woods that park rangers have mapped and surveyed for 200 years now, so they know all the routes around it. Like, well, you think you're gonna trick these people? I don't know. You got to live in reality here. Which I guess I'll leave you with this last question here. What like I was only kind of joking about the running as a Republican thing. I mean, I'm still thinking about it, but like, what do you think we should do? Like, because the Democrats don't seem to be up to the task. They just don't, as we found out. So,
And it's
where do we go
like
from here?
I would love to say that we should all vote third party, but the fact of the matter is that you're just going to lose.
You
You're
are,
going to
you are.
lose every time. What we really need to do is we all need to run for office.
Hmm.
We need to take over the Democratic Party. The same way that the Trumpers took over the Republican Party.
Yep.
You've got to remember, 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, half the Republican Party hated Trump.
Yeah.
But once enough of them got into power, the rest of them just fell in line. And the Democrats would do the same thing. If you could get 30% of Democrats to be leftists, outspoken leftists talking about wanting to do good things for the American people, the rest of the Democrats would have to fall in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is that's a lot of work and
It's
and that's assuming we get to vote next time, which who knows.
well, this is so saying that after the election I tried my best to rally the troops as much as I could, the best I could, and like talk to people and get them, because a lot of people were despondent. But I said, look, I get why. I feel kind of down about it too, but we have really short memories here. You remember 2012 when the Republicans thought Mitt Romney was going to win? They all thought it's eerily similar. They all thought the polls were wrong. They thought that like the energy was behind Romney. Like they knew they get it, and Romney got his ass kicked. And the Republicans, they actually said, we're doing a party autopsy. We're going to change. The Republicans were destitute. They thought it would be 50 years of Democratic rule. They won 4 years later. And they've been, honestly, their hard work paid off. And that's one thing, too, that we really got to get at it. We have to stop we have to stop thinking of like the sexy titles and everything. We need to like hit on the ground. Like say what you want about the Republicans, but they put in the fucking work. The conservatives, like since the
Yeah.
Civil Rights Act and everything, they have hit the ground. They're like, we're getting in school boards, we're getting,
Yeah, they've
mayors.
taken over judges, mayors, school boards, like and all of that shit matters.
It
All of
matters.
that shit matters. Like, and most Democrats that I talk to couldn't tell you who their senator is.
Nope, no, no. It's
And like, let alone who their state senators are. People forget most states actually have a Congress and a Senate in the state too, and people have no idea who these people are or when the elections even are.
Yeah. That's where you find the real
That's-
sickos, by the way. The state Senate.
Oh, yeah.
I in the Indiana General Assembly, I saw the Republicans there. Whew. Like I'm an atheist. Well, I was an atheist until then because I saw actual demons in the state Senate with the Republicans there. They were just monstrous. But that is where. And if people get disillusioned by like electoral politics, like we get it. If you want your vote to really matter, vote in a local election. Your vote means a ton for your
Facts.
local elections. You can do a lot of work there if you don't want to get involved yourself, but make your voice heard. So I don't know, like if you had to predict like the next couple of years, or let's like 4 or 5 years, I'm under the impression that things are going to get a lot worse, honestly, for the next 5-6 years before they start getting better. I'm still optimistic it can get better, but the near future looks pretty rough to me. Not just because of Trump, but because of just the society in general, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's bound to get worse, and the degree of how much worse depends on Trump. Like, if he decides to actually invade another, like one of our allies, I mean, we're entering a level of insanity that I don't know if we'll ever come back from. Like, I mean, could you imagine if Trump actually sent troops to Greenland?
What is up with that? What is up with his Greenland fascination? He's brought it up his last term. He was like, I want to buy Greenland. And we're like, why? I generally, I don't know why. I can't give a good reason other than the only theory I have is that Trump created the Space Force, which sounds cool, right? Like it sounds cool, like creating a space force. Unnecessary. For those of you wondering, the Space Force is officially the 5th branch of the United States military. The people were already there. Like Space Command already existed in the military. Trump just turned it into its own branch inexplicably. But the only thing that I can think of is like because Greenland's like an allied nation. You don't need the shipping routes or the military stuff there. Is like Trump, maybe he just likes doing stuff that puts him down in history. Like, oh, I created the Space Force. Oh, I had the 51st state or something like that. I don't know.
I know this is dumb, but I think it's because he wants to be on Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
And the only people on Mount Rushmore are people who increased or stabilized the size of the United States.
Oh, I didn't. Huh.
Yeah, it's Washington, Jefferson because of the Louisiana Purchase, and then Alaska and Canada. Lincoln's on there because of uniting us from the Civil War, and then Alaska and Canada is why Teddy's on there.
I'll be damned.
Or Alaska and Hawaii.
I didn't know that. Well,
So,
all right.
As dumb as that is, I think that's why. I think Trump just wants to be on Mount Rushmore.
That's wild. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. But anyway, like, thanks so much for joining us, man. I appreciate it. Where can the folks find your work for now, at least? Where can they find?
I'm still on TikTok until you know what's up, and then I'm also on YouTube, and I'm on Red Note until they ban that one.
Good stuff. That's appreciated. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time. All right, let's close out here. Oh, cool. All right, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.